I'm at a crossroads. Come join me on an Omen Walk.
If you would like to learn about fairy folklore, delve into modern fairy faith spirituality, and explore fun and fanciful fairy-themed events, please subscribe to Fairy Fortunes for new videos every Friday.
Hello my fair friends, I'm Ruby Ruse, and today on Fairy Fortunes we are out in the wild world. I would very much like for you to join me on an Omen Walk. Now, an Omen Walk is a form of divination in which you ask the nature, you ask the fairy spirits, you ask the spirits of that place to assist you in addressing a certain question that you have. So for me, I have a situation at my work where I could pursue a promotion, but that would entail a great deal of effort on my part. And I'm not really certain if that's the route that I wish to take. So I thought that I would bring this question out into nature and consult with the fairy and nature spirits. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm undertaking an Omen Walk is that I like to center myself. I like to greet the spirits of this place and acknowledge them and seek their assistance. How I do that is the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just center myself in this space. I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to imagine that my whole body is connected to the ground that I'm standing on, and I'm definitely going to be breathing in this air that is unique to this space. And I'm opening up my ears to hear the sounds of the birds and the animals that is in this area. And I'm just using all of my senses to take in this location and being present in this space. You can even imagine that your feet have taken root into the ground so that you become a part of this space so that you can further get in touch with this location and center and ground yourself. Now, another thing that I like to do is I like to formally greet the space, greet the fairy spirits that live here. And how I was taught to do this through working with the fairy spirits is that I was given a linguistic greeting which is, I believe, in a fairy language. Asha koreme fortunema. And what I understand that to mean is it means I greet you with spirit, with my heart, and all that I am. Fortuna, I believe, has a relationship to fate, your past, your present, and anything that you may be. So you're greeting the space with all that you are. Then, of course, I will have to relate to the fairy spirits of this place, the reason that I'm going on this Omen Walk, and so I very clearly want to state my purpose. I come to you, great spirits of this place, seeking knowledge. I have a question in my life that I'm attempting to address. There is a promotion at my occupation that part of me wishes to pursue for the prestige, for the honor, for contribution and commitment, but I have misgivings about pursuing this because I'm afraid that it will take me away from my spiritual life and other things that are very important to me. I am hoping that you will assist me and give me your advice and your opinions in the form of signs and omens to help me make this decision for myself. Asha koreme fortunema. And now we walk. And in an Omen Walk, you just have your own question on your mind and just allow your brain to free associate and connect things. The hardest things about doing this type of divination is that there's really no set symbol that you can say, aha, there it is, that's the answer. So when you're out doing an omen walk, how do you know, how do you tell the difference, how do you discern what is a sign and what is not a sign? And that is honestly very tricky to answer. For me, how I tell the difference between something interesting and something that I should pay attention to, something that is truly a sign, an expression of communication from something other than myself, if you will, is that I feel it in my, like I actually tangibly feel it within my body. My heart clenches, my stomach gets a bunch of butterflies, I get tingling in my skin, and I can't ignore what I'm seeing. My answer to how do you know is, if you just can't let it go, if you can't ignore it, and you truly believe it's a sign, then it's probably a sign. So as I was walking down the path, I actually did not want to stop for this particular instance because it was too soon, I felt, in the video. I had not walked but like 5 feet before I saw this very first sign. But I couldn't ignore it, and I decided that this was a true communication. So behind me, the reason I stopped is that I saw these very leaf-barren trees, these trees that are standing that have a little bit of life to them but do not have a lot of leaf or foliage on them. So I have one here right directly behind me, I'm pointing to it here, and then I have one on the other side of me, this one here, behind these two groupings right here of trees. And what struck me about these trees is that I practice tradcraft. One of the primary tools of tradcraft is something called a stang. Now, I've used my stang in other videos, and you can see the stang that I have in my Fairy Fortunes divination deck. Carciere the Calais holds the stang in that card. The stang is a staff made of wood with in the shape of a fork. And when you are practicing tradcraft, you're supposed to go on one of these omen walks to discover your stang. What I couldn't ignore about these trees that are alive but yet do not have foliage on them is that they very much reminded me of the tradcraft stang. And I really felt like when I centered myself, when I presented myself to the spirits of this place, to the fairies of this place, and asked for their assistance in this question that I have concerning my occupation and how that might affect my spiritual life, the very first thing that I'm greeted by is an image of the stang, and not just one, but multiple images of the stang. And so that's something that I'm going to have to think about, because it's very clear to me that the fairies are reminding me of my commitment to my spiritual life and to them, and how much joy and resonance that brings to me in my life. Now, sometimes the strangest things will come up in omen walking. This is actually a very small little hole. This is not an animal's den. This looks like maybe a sign was left in this hole, that it was served a purpose and now no longer serves a purpose, that it was just abandoned. At work, I have this tendency to fall down the rabbit hole, as I say. It's when my job becomes so overwhelming that it takes up so much of my time that I start to lose other aspects of myself. And my job does not fulfill me in ways that I feel that it should. So this omen walk is not leading towards promotion, it sounds like. I think with any kind of divination, there's always that question in the back of your mind.
is this really spirit communication, or is this just my subconscious? Is this just what I want to hear? Am I just seeing what I want to see? I don't think it really matters. Because when you embark on an omen journey, when you are actively looking for signs, for omens, for metaphors, if you will, your subconscious mind is correlating experiences. And so it doesn't really matter, because the process, it's either a spirit communication, so you're receiving messages from a higher power, or it's your subconscious trying to give you symbols to work with. This is an in-depth way to tune into what's truly in your mind, what's truly in your own heart. And so there's still value, even if it's not this great spiritual experience.
So I had another one of those, this is a sign moment. I'm not sure if you can see it from this angle, but this is the main walkway that I'm standing on. It's made of asphalt, and clearly you're meant to stay on the path in this particular park. But if you notice, out right there, there is a grass road. And it's very clear that you're not supposed to walk into that grass road, but yet there it is. It's a grass road. And I kept thinking to myself, I want to be on the grass road. I don't want to be on the asphalt road. And I thought about how that was kind of a metaphor for the life that I lead. I chose to go into an occupation mostly from pressure from outside sources that really didn't have my best interest at heart at the time. And then I stayed in that occupation because I found myself a single mother, and I just didn't feel confident enough to quit that job with having house payments and a brand new baby and trying to do all of that at once. So I ended up keeping the job that I have now. And I'm not sure that's a bad thing, because I am very proud of many of the things that I've done in my life, but especially in my darkest hours, I remember the life that I had before this job. And it's kind of like that grass road out there. Maybe I'm not supposed to be on it, but I want to be on it. Like, that's the road I want to be on, the wild road, the natural road, the grass road. And in my current job, I drive on asphalt. Like, that's one of the primary things I do during the day, is I'm constantly driving. And I don't necessarily want to have that life. I want to have the wild life, the natural life. Maybe the road that I left behind, the road that's been abandoned. I'm so excited. I found the entrance to the grassy path that I wanted to be on. And now I'm standing in the crossroads, which I think is very telling. And as I entered the path, because I was looking around, I found a sign, and I read the sign to make sure that I had the right to be here. And it said, yes, I have the right to be here because I'm not on a bike and I don't have a dog, so I have free passage to go through here. But as I was walking down the grassy path that I wanted to be on, it struck me that I'm always asking for permission. Where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? And as I was thinking about the promotion, I had this sense that it's not so much that the fairies, the nature spirits, are telling me, no, you shouldn't take the promotion. Particularly when I came to this crossroads, where I can continue on the grassy path that I'm on, but there's now a new path that I could take as well, is that I had this sense of belonging.
Because I'm always wondering if I belong.
And that's the thing with any form of divination, is that this is never necessarily the answer. The messages that you receive, it's always an option. And as I was walking along, that definitely resonated with me, because I was thinking that in my current job, I'm always considering how much I feel like I don't belong there, that I'm too different, I'm too weird. But there's evidence to suggest the contrary to that, because oftentimes I seem to be the right person in the right place at the right time. And I even have supervisors that will specifically ask me to come and handle certain situations because they know that I have the skills to handle it and that it will be done the way that it should be done. So if I did choose to take the promotion, that I think wouldn't necessarily be the wrong path to take.
I was trying to find my last sign because I could see the parking lot in the distance. And I'm just struck by, you are here. I think that in and of itself is a message. You are here and it is now. And that will be the same regardless of what path I take. Although I do find it interesting that over here there's like this charred area, and that's kind of my fear with this crossroads, is that if I take one path, the other will dwindle away and die. Definitely if I pursue the promotion, I would definitely have to tailor my video schedule, probably do far less videos. I wouldn't be able to travel as much as I like to. So a lot of the signs, a lot of the omens that I'm getting from the Fae, the spirits of place, the fairies, is or maybe, as I said, maybe it's my subconscious telling me, is that in my heart of hearts, perhaps I've already made my decision, and my decision is that I do not want to take the promotion. I want to be free to pursue what makes me feel whole and a part of something bigger than myself.
The final thing that I like to do when I'm leaving an Omen Walk, I think it is necessary to give thanks, to leave some kind of offering. When you're leaving something in a nature preserve, you do want to be careful about leaving things like chocolate, because the spirits of this place include like foxes, and sometimes humans, companions of the dogs, will find the chocolate and eat it on the trail. So you want to be careful about leaving chocolate offerings for the Fae. Seeds are often a great offering, herbs, flowers. But I didn't bring any of those things. I didn't come prepared. But another appropriate offering that you can give is coins. Coins are a sign of abundance. They represent the element of earth. And the great thing about leaving coins is that if the fairy spirits feel that someone needs to have this as a gift, they can re-gift it. And so I like to leave coins behind as offerings. And then once again, I like to say an official goodbye. At the beginning, I centered myself and gave a greeting, and from what I understand from the fairies is that their hello and goodbye is the same blessing. Asha koreme fortunema. My spirit, my heart, and all that I am go with you. And so I say that to the fairies, the spirits of this place. I am grateful for the lessons that I learned here today. I feel very confident in my decisions. I feel that I have a path forward, I feel that I have information, and that is largely thanks to this Omen Walk today. So I show with gratitude, Asha Koreme Fortunema. If you like this video, I think that you would also enjoy my video, A Spring Ritual to Welcome the Fae. That is also an outdoor experience on that video, and also I use a few tradcraft elements, so if you're curious to know what that looks like, there are some elements of that in that ritual. I would also invite you to find me on Facebook and on Instagram. Especially on Facebook, I spend a great deal of time on divination. You will find near daily fairy fortune divination readings on there. And then on Instagram, I share completely unique content on that platform. You can also visit my website, www.fairyfortunes.com, where you can purchase readings and products, see where I'm performing during the year, and also you can visit my blog, where there are a host of fairy resources for you and resources on occult and the mystical arts and a host of different things. Thank you so much for joining me on this Oracle Walk today. I hope that I have inspired you to hopefully try this form of divination for yourself. I guarantee it can be an insightful experience as you've witnessed here today. Once again, it is with gratitude that I thank you for joining me, and to the fairy spirits, Asha Koreme Fortunema, my spirit, my heart, and all that I am go with you. And with that, have a magical day.